Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? A gracious good morning to you, good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do, and you know why I do it. It is Thursday, as I like to say, Friday light. It's 2:35 in the a.m. and it's March 12th. As I was walking from my parking spot to my office, I guess that's when I do my most deep thinking. It's like I wake up with something on my mind, or I go to bed with something on my mind, and I let it just kind of marry to other information that I have locked in my dome, and I come up with my opening statement for the morning. This one is a little heavy. So yesterday, I mentioned that I follow a couple of mental health professionals on Tickety Talk. And while I don't have a license, I work with individuals who are mentally unstable at times and have a mental health diagnosis of addiction or a use disorder. And so I have to know a little bit about what they're talking about. Now, this doesn't have to deal with addiction. This has to deal with, family of origin issues, communication issues, just overall relational dysfunction. Now, we've all heard that word, narcissist, bantered about. That seems to be the new diagnosis for all the armchair mental health professionals and all the people who are struggling with some type of relationship and relationship communication, and I'm no different. I've experienced, and I'm coming off the experience of dealing with a true narcissist. Now, according to, clinical documentation, I'll put it like that, there is no cure, if you will, for narcissism. You can manage symptoms, and that's the best you can hope for. And there's no medication for managing symptoms. It's just teaching skills, coping strategies. Also kind of reminding people of cause and effect. The if and then clause is what I like to call it. If I do this, then this will happen. Okay? So one of the people that I follow yesterday was talking about how people throw the word healing around, and just kind of, again, misdiagnosing people. And she was pointing out, in order to heal, there has to be a wound. And that's what I started thinking about yesterday and kind of built on today. And I'm going to say it doesn't necessarily have to be a wound. That's my perspective. It doesn't necessarily have to be a wound, because not all wounds are visible. We have contusions, which means there was an impact and there's something happening under the skin. Are you wounded? Yes. But I think when we hear the word wound, we're often thinking of puncture or, ripped flesh, if you will. You don't see the heart, but the heart has been impacted. So I want to get more clarity on the term wound. Okay? Now I'm going to move to narcissism, because, baby, we're all kind of packed with the traits. It's how we manage them, how we recognize them, Recognizing things and behaviors is half the battle. You know it's there. So I saw this on narcissism yesterday. And it's 6 rumors narcissists like to spread about you. Let me turn this sound down because I don't want to hear the music. The first one is you're crazy. It says calling you unstable is one of the most common tactics. If others believe you're irrational or overly emotional, they're less likely to trust your version of the events. It discredits you before you even speak. Second one is you're the narcissist. It says projection is powerful. By accusing you of the very traits they display, they flip the script. This creates confusion and makes outsiders unsure who to believe. I don't care what outsiders believe. Now, when you start explaining yourself and justifying yourself to people who have no say, then you open yourself up to be constantly vulnerable. I need to say that. Third thing is you're abusive. It says when you set boundaries, push back, or react after prolonged mistreatment, they frame it as abuse. Your self-protection becomes their evidence against you. That's what I identify heavily with. You're obsessed with me. If you share your experience or warn others, they label it as obsession. This reframes your healing or truth-telling as emotional instability. Been there, done that dance. You're lazy, unstable, or difficult. Now, I got the difficult label. You drive me crazy. You do. Never mind what you're doing to elicit these responses. It's all you. It says they may attack your character, work ethic, or mental health. These rumors make you look unreliable and protect their public image. See, with this particular individual that I let into my space, I'm taking responsibility for that. They were all about image. And now I'm in the place of this one. You used me. It says instead of admitting they lost control or were rejected, they reframe themselves as a victim. It allows them to maintain superiority and avoid vulnerability. And like I said, I'm in that space. And usually when you deal with a narcissist, you are unstable in that you can't find emotional balance because they do this push me, pull you thing with the emotions. I love you. I hate you. I love you. I want you. I need you. I hate you. You know, so you're constantly in that mental and emotional state. And as long as you're unstable, they can continue to do what they do. Or if you're emotionally invested, they can continue to do what they do. So I want to say, if you recognize beyond a shadow of a doubt narcissistic traits, protect yourself. Acknowledge what part you played in the madness, because we all have a role. You know, early on in my healing process, I was projecting all over the place. And I have to acknowledge that. I have to acknowledge that, you know, I showed up, dressed up, and courted the abuse. And then that great getting up morning, as my grandma used to say, that great getting up morning, when you come to yourself. Now, if you're familiar with scripture, you know, there's a passage about the prodigal son and how he just wasted his inheritance on what scripture describes as riotous living. But there's a little statement that I cling to You know, when I realized that I've gone buck wild, and it says, when he came to himself. Now, the next passage talks about, you know, he was making pig food look good because he was starving for the real deal. So, when you come to yourself, it's a whole different ball game.